Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. We're starting right now. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 720. It is May 25th, 2022. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, and I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, hi.
Brad, you never have any energy or enthusiasm. It's like the beginning of the show, no matter how excited you are to talk about video games, you never sound it at the very beginning of the show. You usually like slip into it, but what's up with that? I don't mean to put you on the spot. Oh,
no,
God
I
damn it.
feel great.
Yeah, just everything I just said in one ear, right out the other. Anyways, hello, Nolan. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Nick, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Crispy, what's
Whoa.
up?
What's up?
Video games?
I guess.
Chris Davis.
I just want to go to bed.
Well,
never mind. Let's cancel the podcast.
Good energy.
Podcast canceled. This is great energy. This is fantastic. You know what? We got a little bit of housekeeping. So if you want to squeeze in a cat nap, go for it. There's a couple things I want to mention at the top of the show. First one being, last week we brought back the Top 3 podcast, formerly Top 5. This is a bonus podcast series. We're probably going to try and do one a month. So if you're interested, check that out. We did our top 3 dream projects. It's up on 4playernetwork.com. It was fun. It was a good time. I really enjoyed that show. And if you want to hear us do more of those, let us know. Reach out. Leave us a comment. Leave us, feedback on the site. Tweet at us. Ping us in Discord. Whatever it is. Whatever you need to do to communicate to us that you enjoyed the show, please do so. Because we would love to do more, but only if you guys want to hear more.
And go watch the YouTube versions. We post them there too.
Sure, go watch the YouTube versions. All the podcasts go up because Chris Davis does, spends his time, his effort putting into these VODs you can watch on YouTube. So go check them out. Especially if you missed
apparently a lot of people enjoy our VODs lately for some reason.
Brad asked me if these views we've been getting lately have been real, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Who the fuck knows what the state of
go
look?
YouTube it doesn't
make
a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, we've never pulled in like huge numbers or anything. So like seeing spikes like that, I'm like, I don't know if they're real. How am I supposed to know if they're real? You know what? If you're a real person and you're watching our VOD and you've never commented on anything, comment on this podcast. Let Brad know that you're a real person and you enjoyed this VOD. Okay? On YouTube. That way, when he goes to investigate later, he knows what's up. Just saying. I also want to mention the Revival Club. I recorded a podcast last week with Carlos and community guest Freyham for The Darkness. That's up now on our podcast feeds. But we have moved on to Vagrant Story. Got that game installed last night on PC and Steam Deck. Got them both running. And I played the first 2 hours or so of it last night. Brad was there the entire time almost. He even called me in the middle of the stream to explain the mechanics.
Yeah,
so,
it could be impenetrable.
He keeps saying impenetrable, so I'm waiting for it to feel impenetrable. And he told me not to say, that it's not impenetrable. But as of where I'm at right now, it doesn't feel. I know I'm saying the word impenetrable a lot. Nolan's
just a little
faces.
bit. Yeah.
Penetration. Okay. Point is, the Revival Club is playing Vagrant Story. This game has been on my backlog for so fucking long, and I'm so excited to finally play it. So if you're interested in playing along, discussing it, being a guest when Brad and I eventually record a podcast about this game, go to patreon.com/4player, or you can subscribe on Twitch. And lastly, I want to mention, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to get back in the habit of it. I want to thank our newest Patreon supporters, Ollie G, Kenton.
Ollie G, wow.
It's pronounced
Ollie
G.
No. This is Ollie. This is OLIE. Ollie G. Clearly he went for it though. G Ledger, OTL, Mifowski. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Scud, and Insana D213. thank all of you for supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate every dollar you send our way. It helps us pay for our hosting costs and keeping this podcast going and keeping us motivated. So thank you very much. If you're interested in supporting us, patreon.com/4player. But enough about that. Let's talk about that Tifa statue. We got some time to kill. Let's get it out there. Let's talk. Who's buying one of those weird, pervy Tifa statues?
Oh man,
I know
it's only weird if you make it weird, Nick.
You know, one of you has it in your cart already at this point, right? No.
I can't afford that. I'm living on peanut butter sandwiches for the next week, so like no.
Hey, there was a recall if you're eating Jif peanut butter.
Oh yeah,
I am eating Jif peanut butter. I bought the bottle last year. I checked. I'm fine.
I'm not.
You've had a bottle of peanut butter for the past year, and you're so attached to it that you couldn't just let it go and buy a different brand. You had to keep it.
It hadn't expired, and I hadn't used it. So why throw it out? Why get new ones?
Well, this is a public service announcement. If you're listening to us right now on the go and you have a jar of Jif peanut butter at home that you've bought recently, maybe throw that away.
Well, maybe you can go on their website and you can check the lot number and see if yours was an actual issue like mine. Mine was on the lot of this is potentially salmonella peanut butter, and I had literally eaten it already twice that day.
Twice.
Sorry, within the last 24 hours, because the night before I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then that morning I had some apple slices with peanut butter. Yes, I'm a third grader. Sue me. But I guess I don't have salmonella. Don't get me wrong. I had not been having the best BMs the past couple of days. I don't know if that had anything to do with that peanut butter, but I stopped using that peanut butter.
This took a turn. This took a hell of a turn.
How does peanut butter get salmonella in it?
I have no idea.
My assumption is that it's just the factory that they have it in had some sort of issue. I don't know. I mean, salmonella doesn't just come from like chicken eggs and stuff. I mean, it's a bacteria.
Technology says eggs. I'm sure eggs are involved.
Eggs are one place.
Eggs in peanut butter, is that real?
I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. What even is peanut butter?
I think say what even is eggs.
Anyways, just be careful out there, folks. There's salmonella in peanut butter. So, video games. We're going to talk about video games in a second. It's been kind of a slow news week, whatever. Anything else y'all want to mention? Anybody seen any good movies lately? Brad, you got any other weird shit you want to talk about?
I don't watch a lot of stuff.
I watched that fucking Chip and Dale movie.
I saw it too.
I was in the room when that was on.
It's all right. It's fine. It's cool.
So
it's whatever.
Are all the cameos that I've been seeing tweets about and stuff? Those are all legit. Those are all like in the movie.
It's kind of that thing where like if you've seen Ready Player One and you've seen the new Space Jam and you've seen this, like there's a sense of like we're gonna get one of these every few years now. It seems like
using all of the IPs that we owned.
And then like
as much crap.
This one's Disney, so they've licensed a lot of like they've gotten a lot of people's stuff,
Somebody said this is the movie that finally brought the Snyderverse back to life. Like, is that accurate?
What?
Like Ben Affleck's Batman is in it or something?
No, there's a so like the whole premise of the movie is that Chip and Dale are actors and like all cartoon. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, cartoons are real and they're just actors. And then like there's a montage in the beginning after they finish doing Rescue Rangers and they both like kind of go their separate ways in the industry. I think they do a trailer of Batman, like the armored Batman from Batman v Superman, but it's like some cartoon character playing him. I don't remember. Batman versus E.T. That's what it was. It was some kind of weird bullshit like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like weird like in jokes.
And the ugly Sonic
there's like a Gucci ad with fucking Dobby the house elf in it, because they're celebrities, so they do stuff like ad campaigns.
Oh my god!
Okay. The only thing I've seen one clip, and it was Tim Robinson as like Sonic.
As Ugly Sonic, yeah.
Ugly Sonic.
Yeah, like Ugly Sonic is the guy who's on the like old cartoon convention circuit with Dale because Dale still like goes to conventions and stuff. And Ugly Sonic's whole thing is like, oh yeah, I'm starting a reality TV show where I follow around the FBI, and yeah, it's just
Okay, so
They do
it's
like
Tim
a
Robinson
zoom in on
plays
his
him, so
teeth.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like,
somebody in
yeah.
chat just posted the Dobby Gucci ad, and I'm losing it.
Oh, I hate it so fucking much. Like,
My God.
it's
Woo.
bad. And then like all
Okay.
there's like a scene where they're walking down the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and all the stars are like cartoon and video game characters. It's like Squidward and Chun-Li, like, you know.
You got to watch that movie like 2 or 3 times to catch everything. It's one of those.
Yeah, and that's what's
I'm
yeah.
not
It's-
even entirely sure I can bring myself to watch it once, but I
like
will if you say it's good.
The Who Framed Roger Rabbit comparison is one that people have been making a lot because it's that same basic premise, and it's also a murder mystery thing. Like,
Yeah.
and that is pretty accurate. But like, as far as the whole like referential, there's a lot of time spent in this movie just showing you things just to be like, hey, look what we like.
Very much so.
You know,
Yeah.
more
wink,
like
wink,
way
nudge,
more
nudge.
than something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
it's kind of.
But there's also
What
a
even-
surprising amount of like dark shit and dark humor in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, yeah, it's a little more full on than you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot more going on in that film than
I
if,
mean,
if
like
you're an adult
the
and you
main
think about
plot, the main plot is essentially about human trafficking, but it's cartoon.
Oh my God.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah, and
I was not
Monterey
expecting
Jack,
that.
Monterey Jack gets kidnapped and like human trafficked, and the whole
What the
thing
fuck?
is them trying to find him and like bring down the operation.
Yeah.
What a fascinating.
I mean, it's really weird. Don't get me wrong. It's a compelling watch because you're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's kind of fun. It's well written for what it is. Some of the humor is actually legitimately funny. But yeah, it is surreal. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's so fucking weird. And like for it to just be a movie that they're just like making for their little streaming service,
What,
you know?
oh, is this on
Like,
Disney Plus? I was about to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
where is it? Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, cool.
I
It's
think
weird,
worth
but
watching.
I would recommend checking it out, but I have no idea what like you're gonna think. You
Yeah.
know? It's odd.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Video games. Let's dig into it. Not a ton of impressions tonight, but before we do our, what is that, Brad? You're saluting. You're like checking out. You're signing
I'm
off.
tired today. I apologize.
Yeah. All right. Well,
You know what, Brad? I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired too.
You know what? I think we're all a little tired. So let's do it. Let's rip this Band-Aid off. Let's talk about. I've been playing. So here's real quick. I finished Elden Ring this week, and I feel free. I feel unshackled. I feel like I can play anything I want, and it's an amazing feeling.
What was your
I've always played what you
what was your
wanted.
build in the end? What'd you
I
use
mean,
to
I was
kill
pretty.
the final boss?
It was mostly a combination. It was mostly a combination of strength and intelligence. I was level 40 on both of those things, so I probably leaned more towards strength by the end of it, even though I started leaning more heavily towards magic and intelligence and stuff at the beginning.
Oh,
But
like, what weapon did you use?
I was using a katana for like the last
A
I don't
strength
know,
katana?
half of, yeah.
So isn't Katana Dex?
I found one that scaled really well with strength. So it scaled pretty well with dexterity as well, but you know, it also did with strength. But yeah, you know what? I finished that game. It's a fantastic fucking video game, but now I am free.
So
I busted out Horizon Forbidden West a little bit the other day, started jumping back into that. But I started playing a game called, this was actually recommended to me by a few people in the community, Anno Mutationem? Is that how you say it? I don't.
that's as close as I think you can get.
All right, and I have a question for you, Chris Davis.
Yes.
You seemed intrigued earlier when you saw this on the dock, and I was wondering if that has anything to do with. There's a sequence in this game, right, where you're like in a bar and you're serving drinks, and they said something about Valhalla. I was like, is this the same team or the same? Like, is this
No,
part of that
it's not
universe?
the same team. That's just like a tribute, like Easter egg for that game.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'm playing.
What kind of
Anno
game is this?
Mutation. This is like a 2.5D action adventure game. I'd say leaning more towards adventure. I haven't done a ton of like action, but there is definitely an action component in it. Like you'll go into like sequences and stuff where you're it's like character action, like you're equipping swords, you have a gun, you have grenades and stuff. So there are lots of sequences where you're running through like a side scroll. Usually combat's in a side scrolling perspective. So when you're like out exploring the world, you're running around like this 3D environment, and then you go into sequences where it's completely side scrolling, and there's enemies coming from left and right, and you're fighting them, with a combination of light, heavy, and ranged attacks. Pretty basic stuff, fun enough. Not a ton to say, I guess, about the combat necessarily. What I'm enjoying about this game quite a bit. One, it has a cool style. Like this is very much like a kind of like an anime cyberpunk game. I say anime because like you're playing as like a sexy anime lady, and she has like a friend, like her best friend, who is like a hacker, and she's constantly with you by way of this like little robot that follows you around, so she can like talk to you and comment on things. But the things that I'm really enjoying about this game so far are like, and this is weird because I said things about something like Ghostwire Tokyo, which didn't resonate very well with me because of like the anime stylings, the anime tropes, whatever. I'm really enjoying this so far because of its leaning into those things. So like the relationship between Anne, the main character, and Ayane, which is the friend, I'm pretty sure is like I read some stuff, and I'm pretty sure I'm picking up on this. It's leaning. I think it's a gay relationship, and I'm like totally shipping these two characters, and I'm really enjoying that. But like their interactions are really cute and fun, and breathe a lot of life into this world or whatever. But like most of the game is you jumping around between parts of this like cyberpunk city and talking to people, doing quests for them, which usually involve investigating mysteries and finding items and bringing it back to them. Pretty basic shit like that. But like it's got this cool neon look to it. It's got this like cool pixelated visual style, and the way that it switches back and forth between 3D and 2D or 2.5 or 3D and 2D platforming is like, it's pretty fun. I don't know. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I really didn't know what I was going to be getting when I booted this game up, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, there is, what I mentioned before was there is totally a sequence where you go into a bar and you spend a good amount of time, like your whole family in this game lives and operates this bar. So you're in the bar and you can actually help your sister. I think it's your sister who operates the bar, and you're helping her serve drinks. So you go behind the counter. You have to change into like a maid outfit, like a barmaid outfit. That's the other thing. My first thought was this is cool. Is this like one of those borderline pervy anime games? I'm not entirely sure, because right out of the gate it's like you can go into her closet and you can go into like there's like all these different outfits, and as you're going through the game you can like buy new outfits to add to the closet, and
you're buying outfits, Nick. You're not shoving sushi rolls in her ass, okay?
Yes.
So there's a big difference.
What game was that again? That was the
Senran Kagura game.
Senran
Kagura. Yeah.
No,
Senran Kagura. This is not. This is like the mission that I recorded footage for it. This was perfect.
That was one of the best days of my life, Nick.
I didn't plan it this way, but like I booted up this game and I started this mission, and the first thing it has me do is like, you got to sneak into this nightclub to like talk to this like playboy, and so she's kind of just like this like quiet stoic type, and her friend Ayane is like quite honestly very obviously in love with her. Like she calls her my darling, and they had this like relationship where she calls her darling, and she's like, can you please not call me darling? And she's like, okay, what about baby? And she's like, oh, just keep calling me darling. It's like they had this like interplay where like she's playing hard to get, and it's cute. Also borderline, maybe a little pushy, I don't know. But she's needs to sneak into this bar, and she tries to go in just dressed as she is, just in like her normal street clothes, and they're like, they won't let her in. So she's like, come with me, and she takes her to like a little store, and you go into the dressing room, and they like make her put on this like tight-fitting dress so that she can get into this nightclub. And that's me running around town in this like tight-fitting dress. It's like, stuff like that makes up. But like all the interactions really cute. The voice acting is really good when
The
there
writing's
is
fun.
voice acting. The writing is fun so far. I mean, it's a little weird. Like the whole like there's been some really creepy, like not creepy, but like side quests that made me go that made me very confused, because it's like supernatural stuff is happening, so there's something kind of going on, and I haven't quite wrapped my head around that yet. But yeah, so far I'm pretty intrigued. She's like on a quest to like find her brother. She has like this, since it's cyberpunky too, like a lot of people have like augments and like robotic enhancements, and she has some kind of virus or sickness that she's suffering from. So her brother went out to try and find a cure for it and then disappeared. So you're trying to find him and see what happened to him and stuff. So I'm still kind of trying to like dig into that stuff, but it's intriguing. And it's kind of chill. And honestly, the music reminds me a little of Subnautica.
It looks unique. I know you say 2.5D, but like
you're
just like fully walking around this environment like it's a 3D environment. I remember when this game got announced, definitely people responded to most positive, or initially, was the look being kind of crazy. It's glad to see that it kind of actually turned into a game more than just its look. Hey, did you make a background for the podcast tonight?
I did, but Chris Davis is using a different one.
He's got the wrong one. That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm surprised he didn't notice, but okay.
I didn't notice it until you said something. I'm looking at the feed.
There we go. That's better.
There we go. But yeah, this is I'm enjoying this quite a bit, and it's quite honestly, as someone who just spent 120 something hours playing Elden Ring, this is like about as far in the other direction of that as I could go. So it's refreshing.
So you just kind of picked this up on the whim, or just people's reference, or
somebody in chat, I forgot who it was. I think it was like Cheese Kid or someone had mentioned it to me. I don't even know why they recommended it to me specifically. Honestly, it might have something to do with the fact that we were having that discussion about Ghostwire Tokyo and how I didn't like it for the anime-ness of it.
You just needed to be more pervy.
So maybe I did. Maybe, I mean, I like sexy anime.
So you need
ladies.
something that was more anime. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe tighten up those skirts.
Okay, well that sounds a little weird.
No, what sounds weird is earlier you said I ship those two characters, and I've never been more confused by something that's come out of your mouth, Nick.
What? Am I not allowed to ship characters? Is that?
Well, you don't technically ship characters who are already in a relationship.
Well, I'm only saying that now because I don't know 100% if that's where it's going. Because the main character, Anne, is, as of right now, is kind of like... I can't tell if she's like reciprocating those feelings or what, but like I'll be honest, like that relationship, which seems to be heavily teasing a romantic relationship, is kind of one of the most one of the biggest draws for the game for me so far. I'm like really enjoying the interactions and seeing where that's going. They have a nice they play off each other nicely. Also forgot to mention there are skill trees. Combat is pretty basic so far, so you know, it's nothing crazy, nothing to like special about it, but it does have the ability to like put points into stuff and like stat boosts and all that kind of stuff.
Crazy.
It's pretty cool. But enough about that. That's Anno Mutationem. Again, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I'm playing it on PC and Steam Deck. Runs great on both. If you're watching the stream, here's the outfits that I'm choosing, and I will be buying as many of them as I possibly can because you know it's fun.
I bet.
Yeah, I've actually ordered this game on a limited run. But
I thought about doing that, but I was like, I feel like I'd be really ashamed of myself if I ordered a limited run game before I even tried the actual game. But I didn't want to start anything while I was playing Elden Ring, so I put it off. So, but anyway,
that's fair.
It's great. It's fun. It's fun. It's a cool game. The music reminds me a lot of Subnautica, like Ben Prunty's stuff. I don't think it's Ben Prunty. I could be wrong, but it's very chill, and it reminds me of Subnautica. So if you're into that, it's pretty cool. It's got that like cyberpunk aesthetic, but it doesn't go quite as like hard and in your face as like Cyberpunk 2077. So you know. Anyways, all right, Bradley and Crispy, and a little bit me. Been playing
a little bit.
A little bit. You.
Like I've done 3 hunts so far. in Monster
Were
Hunter
they?
Rise
I mean,
in
like
preparation.
3 big monster hunts, or like 2
2.
deliveries and a hunt.
3 village.
You know,
quests.
I'm on rank 2. Whatever. Take that as you. I'm doing this obviously to get ready for.
He's
Sunbreak,
getting ready
which
to
comes
fight
out.
a Kuluyaku.
Oh, very poorly. Let me set this up. So I played a lot of Monster Hunter Rise, and
No.
I've used most
Shocking.
of the weapons, but there are a few weapons that I just never touch. Never touch. And when I picked up Rise for PC and I started playing through it again once I got my Steam Deck, I was like, well, I am going to use a weapon that I've never really used before. And I got all the way through Narwa using the Switch Axe. And I like the Switch Axe a lot. But then after I beat Narwa, I was like, well, let me try something else that I never use. I won't touch the bow or the longsword because those are for dirty anime people. And I honestly, and they're so like overtuned and do so much damage and look so flashy that just like literally in Rise, half the people play longsword. Like 2% of the people play lance, half the people play longsword. I don't want to play longsword because I'll never go back. Same with bow. It just does too much damage. It's too cool. Whatever. So I tried dual blades, which I never really loved the idea of dual blades because I don't like kind of like spammy mobile weapons or whatever. But, you know, I played like nearly everything else. So I was like, well, I want to play something new while I kind of grind out for, you know, decorations and stuff. But the thing is, so I start this hunt, and this is the first time I fight Kushala on this save, right? And I'm using a weapon that I've never really used before, and I'm playing this on my PC. I played all of this on my Steam Deck, so I just turned on the PC version, and like my eyes weren't adjusted because I've been so used to playing it and looking at a Steam Deck, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at a PC monitor. The settings really aren't even configured. They're screen tearing, and I'm playing with a 360 controller, and I'm fighting Kushala with a weapon I don't know. So prepare for this footage to be very chaotic.
I feel like Brad's not usually the one to like try and set up his footage and like prepare people for bad. That's my MO, Brad. I'm always the one.
Well, no,
who's self-conscious about his footage.
Well, if I was you, I would have been recording this all fucking evening until I got it perfect. This was just
that is absolutely without a doubt true.
That is true.
This is not that. But so I mean the dual blades are okay. It's cool how mobile they are. Once I put on Evade Extender 3 and you know dashing around in demon mode goes so far, but there's so few weapons. Like only the bow and the dual blades are like so dependent on stamina to deal out their damage and stuff. And I've never played a weapon like that. So it's very weird to be running out of stamina all the time. You kind of got to build for it. And, you know, I'm not quite there. So it's a little strange, but I'm going into I'm going to go into Sunbreak pretty much being comfortable with every single weapon in the game, except for bow and longsword, because I refuse to fuck with those weapons. Another reason I wanted to bring, so I've been playing a lot of it, right? I want to do a lot of the post-game stuff. Now, there's a lot of like armor and stuff you can get, but you don't really need to fuck with that. And you're going to be going into your first master rank Monster Hunter. But once you start master rank, all your old shit, you're just going to throw it in the trash. Because the new shit you're going to be getting in master rank is going to be so much better. So really, you just need to...
rank. Are you referring to Sunbreak? Is that what master rank?
Yeah, Sunbreak. Sunbreak is the master rank expansion where everything's going to get a lot harder. And all you need to do is be powerful enough to kill your first base easy monster, right? Which is probably not going to be easy. But once you kill that monster and you can start getting some like master rank weapons and equipment, you know, it'll go pretty smoothly. The things you might because
because Behind the Hero had wanted to ask if you tried the charge blade. I just wanted to mention.
I too
am going into this kind of the same approach you are, where you're trying to get used to a weapon. Because I played the entire game with the insect glaive, which I loved, but I ended up landing on trying the charge blade for this playthrough, and that is a complicated weapon, but it is fun so far and satisfying. So I'm probably going to stick with that. God. So I just wanted to mention
the new insect glaive. okay. So I've been spending a lot of time playing this, not only just because I love Monster Hunter, I get kind of addicted to it, but some of the things that I do kind of want, because this is a fresh save going into the new expansion, is kind of getting some of the decorations, because in Rise you could pretty much make a decoration for every single skill in the game except for like special like Elder Dragon skills and stuff.
Right.
And some of those like will take some pretty high level materials. Like some of them even require like monster orbs and some of the rarest materials, but they're like they have like crit boost and attack up. Yes, so there's some stuff to kind of grind out. So I've been kind of having fun playing it. The other reason I want to talk a little bit about Monster Hunter today is because over the past week they launched all of the new skill weapon trailers for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. I don't know if it's going to be all of the new skills that a weapon gets. I'm guessing that they might be hiding some of the skills that you can unlock in Sunbreak, but they've showed off each weapon, a different trailer for each weapon, and two of the new switch skills that they get. And it's been causing a lot of controversy in the community because there are certain weapons that Capcom or the Monster Hunter team just loves so fucking much, right? And and they've been releasing like two a day, over a week, and then the other day they do the lance and the longsword on the same day, which is literally by far the most popular weapon in the game and the least popular weapon in the game. And the longsword gets this crazy cool new overpowered shit. It's like insane. The longsword like has a skill that sends out a whole ring, like sends out a ring and it basically creates a zone that if you're fighting the monster in that zone, like all your counters do like extra damage, and you have infinite
Jesus.
spirit gauge. Your spirit gauge doesn't go down, which is so overpowered, and it's like a pretty big area. And then the lance just got like fucking nothing. They got like another shield charge. It was just tragic.
Is that just accepted that like we can't make the lance good? We just can't do it.
No, the lance used to be like earlier generations of Monster Hunter. The lance was really good. Like the lance was a really good weapon. It's just tragically bad in Rise.
Maybe somebody has a
and people
vendetta
are not
against the
happy.
lance, like on the dev team now. They just like they hate that sort.
Well,
the weapon. They're
that's
just like, I'm in a position of power. That thing will never be good.
That's sort of the conversation's all about, and all the jokes are about, the memes or whatever. Is everyone's like, well, no one on the dev team is a lance main and all that stuff, and all the comments are like, the longsword is much too powerful. What are we gonna do? Nerf lance? It's been kind of funny. The unfortunate thing is all the weapons that got kind of underwhelming like skill trailers are like all the weapons I like gun lance and hammer and lance and charge blade. Like apparently they all got pretty underwhelming skills, which are sad, but there's some that are really cool. More weapons are getting counters, of course, which this is what hurts the life of a lance main, right? Because the lance had a purpose. It was never the flashiest. It never did like the most damage in most of the games, right? But it was the one who could stand in the face of the monster, never be afraid, never have to stop attacking, because no matter what the monster did, you could shut him down. You could block it, you can counter it. You'd have to invest, into like guard up and like more defensive skills, but you basically created a tank. But when Rise came out, they just started giving every single weapon in the game counters or like moves with invincibility, like with super armor. So basically every weapon can play in the face of a monster and never be afraid of the monster. So the lance is just like a slow, boring version of like these other weapons that are so much more powerful, so much flashier, and can accomplish the same goals of countering like all the enemy moves, and not even have to like run all these guard decorations and armor. It's just the whole thing is busted. And all I'm saying, and I've always loved the lance. All I'm saying is when they finally get around to doing Monster Hunter Gen 6, Monster Hunter 6 World 2, whatever they're going to call it, I really, really hope they just rethink and overhaul the lance, because it's pretty dire right now. And
Yeah.
they did do that with Hunting Horn and Rise. Like Hunting Horn used to be a very different weapon, unpopular, slow weapon that some people liked, but most people didn't play. And they completely overhauled it, made it flashy, made it fast, made it cool in Rise. So I'm just hoping when we get into the next big Monster Hunter game, Lance is it's cool again,
When do
because
you
it's
think is a
definitely
realistic time to start expecting news on that? Like post
well.
Sunbreak release, or are they gonna keep
So
supporting Rise
so
for a long time?
it's a Dragon's Dogma 2 situation, right? Where everyone knows it exists because the initial Capcom hack and then the Nvidia
Yeah,
leaks,
corroborated it.
and
Yeah.
both Dragon's Dogma 2, which we've had other rumors and leaks about Dragon's Dogma 2, but Monster Hunter 6 Gen 6 was also on both those lists, so we know it's coming.
That was
But
the same
obviously,
list that outed Resident Evil
the-
Village 2, I believe.
The
before.
general expectation for the launch of Gen 6 is sometime next year.
Yeah,
So
at the
probably
earliest.
before the end of
I
the
think
year,
the
we'll start
earliest
hearing
we
something.
might even hear about it, because Sunbreak's
Game
not going to be
Fest?
out till after E3. It's not going to be out till after June, the end of
Oh,
June.
Game Awards?
I think we're probably not going to hear it, and it'll be fresh and new anyways during the summer. So I think the soonest we hear about even a tease about the next Monster Hunter will be like maybe Tokyo Game Show, if that's even
yeah.
a thing
Yeah.
anymore. But late in the year, so we'll see.
Cool. Crispy, you been playing this too? Like, are you playing catch up, kind of in the same
Yeah,
boat?
I think
or-
I'm farther along than Brad is.
Oh shit!
La la.
Okay, yeah, but you started playing at the beginning of the year when this came out. I started playing this when I got my Steam Deck, so shut up.
Well, I finally got the level, like, what is it, like level 8 Nargacuga Charge Blade. So I've been doing a lot of
Ooh.
Charge Blade, and it's a lot of fun. And there's nothing more fun in the world than absolutely whiffing your fucking Sade attack.
Well, yeah.
Happens
I
a
mean,
lot.
it's controversial, right? Because
It's a whiffer.
Yeah.
It's
They
Oh,
changed
you're
the
wearing your
hitboxes on
Monster
that,
Hunter shirt
because-
right now.
yeah,
as we
look, I'm
speak.
wearing my Monster Hunter
Anjanath,
Rise
that's a cool shirt.
I was gonna say
That is a cool
Anjanath.
shirt.
I never get a chance to flaunt my Monster Hunter knowledge. I was about to say Anjanath, and then Brad swooped in and made me look like an idiot.
Take my shirt
That
off.
is that is seriously
You could
a
know
shirt.
what it is.
I also have
too.
a
That's
I also have a world version of Tigrex.
Nice.
But yeah. Yeah, dude, this game is fucking crazy addictive. Like it's kind of
Mhm.
ruining my life.
Yeah.
But I will say that kind of like in keeping, well, I don't know, Brad, like I feel like I haven't seen that many long swords. I've seen a lot of long swords, but I don't think it's been a disproportionate amount.
I think what you're seeing is the same situation that I'm in, where everyone,
people
when they first got it on Switch, probably played the hell out of Longsword, so now they're playing new shit because they're sick of Longsword.
That's true. I do feel like I'm seeing more bows than I used to.
Christopher, are you playing on Switch again, or are you playing on PC?
No, I'm playing on PC. I'm not going back to
Nice.
the Switch. I'm playing on PC.
Nice. Cool. So we'll all be on PC.
Both so overpowered.
But yeah, I just hit 44 last night, so the last like kind of urgent quest monster I did was God, I don't remember.
Teostra?
Yeah, Teostra. Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna fight All Mother Narwa next
Right.
at 50.
At 50.
Which that's a crazy fight if you've never done it. That's crazy.
I actually did not get that far on Switch, so I haven't done it. But looking forward to it. It's been getting.
Man.
I'm finally getting like into like where it starts opening up, and you can do things, and I can like make my layered armor and shit, which is all I really wanted. To make my character look cool, because that's important. It's a very important part
Man,
of
I'm glad I'm finally on the Monster Hunter train. I know this probably makes Chris Davis sad that I'm also on the Monster Hunter train here.
I'm not sad. I'm just
Nick,
indifferent.
download your event quests, because there's even like low rank event quests to where you can get like the Amaterasu skin for your Palamute. That's a low rank event quest where all you have to do is gather stuff. You don't even have to fight anything. So you could just go get
Ooh.
Amaterasu now. Stuff like that.
Definitely do
There's
that,
a lot of
for
cool.
Sure.
That's the thing I'd probably recommend to people looking for something to do in Rise leading into Sunbreak is clean up all the event quests that give you cool rewards, like that are low rank and high rank, because you're going to be too excited about the new stuff in master rank that you're not really going to want to go back to do a lot of like the easier hunts. That can be, you might have to do a couple of times to get all the materials to make like the cool, like the Mega Man dog Rush, has a skin, and there's all the Sonic stuff and Street Fighter stuff. Like there's some cool stuff in there. So do your
The
event
Rush one's
quests.
kind of the Rush one's kind of cool because when you ride your Palamute with the Rush skin, and you sprint with him, he like transforms into like the jet mode and flies.
What?
Yeah, it's cool.
Wait. I have a question. Does the Amaterasu skin for the Palamute, does he like make the flowers grow? Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my god, I want that so bad. I'm gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. Cool.
Oh man, I'm watching this footage. Last thing I just want to say, it's like we're all in agreement, right? If they make Monster Hunter Gen 6 and the wire bug isn't in it, it's gonna be like,
oh, that's controversial though.
Really?
Because Rise, people are a little iffy about how powerful the hunters are in this game, and how the monsters haven't really been able to keep up, and how they've basically turned it into Devil May Cry, especially with wire bug recovery, is something you've never been able to do in Monster Hunter before. Like so it's too forgiving, and people are worried that no matter how hard they try to make it, if you have access to wire bugs, you're just gonna be a god. And people are okay with that in Rise because this is sort of the side series, the portable series, and I think people want like some of the cool stuff from Rise, but maybe not all of it. I think people are hoping that it's maybe a slower pace Monster Hunter game.
Maybe it's the middle ground. Maybe you keep the wire bug, but you get rid of the recovery.
No, the thing is the wire bug. I think you do something like keep Palamutes.
Yeah,
or
I could see them keeping a
you
little bit, or like maybe one or two functions of the wire bug, or keeping wall running or something. Because World
verticality is so important.
Well, World had a lot of verticality and had the fucking I don't remember what they even called it, but it had something that was like a very proto version of the wire bug, where it was just a grappling hook and you could like swing and maybe climb a little bit with it. But Rise is like
the
so much
felt
quicker and more mobile. Yeah. If it was like a World successor and the maps were like, if the maps were as like expansive as they are in World and had like more of that like kind of explorable verticality that Rise has, then maybe something like that would make sense.
How about this? Because think of it this way: what if they make? We'll move on in a second, but like Gen 6, blow up the maps, make them much bigger, so that like you need the remember like the great wire bugs from this for navigation, but like instead of having to do them from specific places, be able to use like great wire bugs just on the fly for traversal specifically, but make them so powerful that you can't really effectively use them in close quarters combat. You know what I mean? Like if it's like a great wire bug and when you use it, you go flying into the sunset. You can't really use that in combat, but you can use it to
maybe just don't
world.
use them at all. Maybe you only use them for traversal and don't use them at all in combat,
or
have the full functionality.
But also, if like you said, they just get rid of them entirely, they go back to World with like a completely different movement mindset, but they keep the Palamutes. Because that seems more indispensable to me at this point, is like some kind of controllable mount. But the wire bug stuff is super cool.
Yeah, one way or the other, something from Rise is going to carry over, because this is a pretty, there's some really cool innovations in this game that I think people would love to see come back. So
they can't get rid of Palamutes. I think they're a mainstay forever.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't really have a lot of impressions. So I was actually, if y'all are cool with it, there was some news I wanted to bring up that's kind of you kind of brought up in this conversation, Brad, and I figured maybe this is a good place to slide it in before we cut to break. And maybe there's nothing to this. I don't know. I have a feeling maybe Brad is more, or
I don't know what you're about to say.
Most of y'all are probably in tune to this more than I am. But like, there is a Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary website. Over the weekend.
That's just. Oh, go ahead.
Is this in any way, shape, or form related to an impending announcement of Dragon's Dogma 2? That's what I want to know.
I don't think it's related, but I still think
Yeah.
it's coming soon. I think we'll probably hear about it this summer, is my guess.
I
Hope so.
want to believe you, Brad, but I feel like we felt that way last year. You know what I mean? Although I will say this, news has been.
It's only
kind of-
because it's been a poorly kept secret, you know. So you're kind of
Yeah.
expecting it eventually.
I think the most realistic thing we can expect is like a Sunbreak content announcement with some Dragon's Dogma stuff in it at this point. I think a proper Dragon's Dogma sequel announcement is something that has to be its own event or part of like a big showcase.
But yeah, I mean, but we have a bunch of big showcases coming up. Like the fake E3,
but
the Summer
Capcom-
Game Fest is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, but Capcom for the past 5 years has been like very just focusing on one or two singular titles at every single event. So you're gonna have to like pick and choose
I'm
what you're
just
gonna
saying,
show.
If you're gonna make a website drawing attention to like the 10th anniversary of a particular game, especially when you know audiences are desperate for a sequel to that game, I feel like it's one of the, you know, if you're gonna do that, you got to know something in the back of your mind, like, something is coming.
I mean, we know
Right,
it's
otherwise
coming. It
you're
was
just-
in the
you're-
NVIDIA leak, and in the
I know,
NVIDIA
but
leak
otherwise-
has come true for everything pretty much. So
Right, but like.
what I'm
Now
saying
there's-
is that what's
they've
a
released a
more
website.
realistic expectation? Like, should we expect something like the Resident Evil 4 remake that we see, you know, this summer, or
No.
Well,
Dragon's
that
Dogma
too.
2?
That too. I
Well,
think those
I
are
mean,
the
yeah,
two.
No, that's absolutely possible. But I'm saying, like, they went through the trouble of making a website for Dragon's Dogma. I don't
all
feel like
sorts
you
of-
do
Yeah.
that.
of
I mean, they also made a
publishers and
Netflix show
developers
that
put
was
up
terrible.
Anniversary websites.
That's
It
true.
happens all the time.
I was gonna say, was that bad?
Yeah, it was real bad. I hear.
The Netflix show? Damn.
Yeah, Hero was terrible. Hey, but here's the question that we should be asking and related to Dragon's Dogma 2. What is it? Because it kind of scares me that there
Is it
wasn't
deep
just
down
one Dragon's
repurposed?
Dogma.
Oh my god.
No.
It's
There wasn't
Beyond
just
Good
one
and Evil
Dragon's Dogma
2.
game. They made the Dragon's Dogma Online, and that was kind of not super well received. Never came west, but like, and if you think about the pawn system, it was sort of like this. Hey, you're not really playing with other people, but you know we have this cool AI system that kind of makes it feel like you're playing with other people.
I think
I'm
this
a
game
little
is gonna be
worried that
playing with other
Dragon's
people.
Dogma 2 launches not as the dream sequel to Dragon's Dogma 2, which is, I don't know, basically Elden Ring with cooler combat or something. But I think it might be more of a games as a service thing, which, you know,
is
some people
that
like
the
Crispy
dream
are
sequel?
okay with that, and I might be okay with that too, but Dragon's Dogma Online didn't go that well. So I'm a little worried that maybe, what
But
if it's not good?
But it's like Monster Hunter with more of a like Shadow of
World and
Colossus
story.
/ like medieval fantasy bent to it.
I will say
Right?
this,
It's like
Capcom-
knights and wizards
Yeah,
going on quests instead of hunters going on hunts.
Yeah,
Like
but
I do
all,
feel like
all of the
Capcom
stuff
has
that
proven
makes
themselves
Dragon's
recently as being able to make, like, they've been making smart decisions with their IP for the past few years. Resident Evil being obviously the main example. Like they brought Resident Evil back from the brink. Like they turned that ship around hardcore. Like Resident Evil is back.
Well,
to
you
being one
say
of the most
that, but they
successful
also
franchises.
tried multiple times to make multiplayer Resident Evil things that have not been good at all.
Yeah.
So
You're not
yeah.
wrong.
So here's
Uh,
what I'm thinking. And granted, this is me having never played Dragon's Dogma, having an outsider perspective, and what little I know of it. So the pawn system is where people share their NPC characters with one another, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think
So yeah, hold on. Yes and no. Yeah, everyone has a companion that they travel around with, that they build. They kind of put their skills, their stats. They decide everything about them, their
Their
equipment.
soul, their heart, their soul.
Yeah. Anyone else can then summon that character into their world. Even like if you're friends, you can do that. But yeah, so
Yeah, that's
it's
what
not
he
just like
said.
some random character. Well, you
So-
said like an NPC,
no, they're
Right.
NPC character.
yeah, they're NPC.
I guess.
My thinking is that
Oh,
I think they would want to go whole hog on that, to where
Whole hog.
to where pawns are basically your friends list. So anytime that you're out in the world, a friend can co-op join in on you and play as that pawn to help you. And on the
Yeah.
flip side, I think that Capcom would be really thinking that invasion mechanic in the Dark Souls games is pretty cool. maybe we should look into doing that. So I
mean,
think
I
there's
would
going to be real focus
I
on
would
like
be pretty
pawns and stuff.
surprised. I would be pretty surprised if we get all the way to Dragon's Dogma 2 and there's not a component where like you have an actual other player running around the world with you. It just seems like the next logical step. Pawns are kind of the signature thing, so they have to exist in some form, and I'm not sure what form that's going to take. But I do think this is going to be the game, whether it's a live service game or not, where co-op is going to be a major part of it. Technology has coined this the Dragon's Hogma show. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm calling it.
Okay, sure.
We've gone whole hog. I don't know. I
Whole
just wanted to
hogma?
bring it up because I thought it was interesting that the website was put out there the other day. It just seemed like I was like, oh man, something's coming, something's on the horizon, and we're big fans of Dragon's Dogma here, so I would be remiss if we didn't at least bring it up. So we're gonna take a break now. When we come back, we got another piece of news I want to go over, and we'll answer some questions. So if you're watching us live and you haven't submitted a question yet, there's still time. Go do it in Discord. We already have a couple in there, but like I said, we don't have a ton of news, don't have a ton of impressions, so we might have a little extra time to answer some more questions. So in the meantime, if you're watching us live or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Before we get into the big news topic, there's a couple... Well, before we get into news at all, Chris Davis sprung this on me during the break. He apparently had 3 games he didn't put on the dock. We're not going to talk at length about these games, but he said you wanted
Chris
to...
Davis.
And I quote Chris Davis when I say this. He said he was going to briefly mention them.
I
There's
just
no
wanted to
names.
briefly mention that I beat 3
Which
games.
is all I'm going to allow, because they weren't on the dock. Go ahead.
We also started the news already, but go ahead.
I played through and I beat South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Nice.
Enjoyed that. I completed Kaiju Wars.
Yes.
Really enjoyed that.
You loved that, yes.
Oh yeah, yes it did. It was made for me after all. And
Yep.
I also beat Sifu.
Oh,
And
nice.
And
I-
Sifu, dude, that game. Once I finally understood stage 3 and what it actually wanted me to do.
Chris Davis, I
pretty
will tell
good.
you this. After you talked about it on the podcast. I knew things about it. I've heard other shows talk about it. We talked about it. I went and picked up that game.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be playing that here soon. I'm very excited about it.
Well,
That's thanks to you, Chris Davis.
it's really good. What again, very briefly, but the cool thing about it was that I beat the game and then I realized I didn't beat the game. And so my perspective of the game completely changed, and it was very exciting.
And this is part of
Briefly.
This is part of what they wanted you to experience. Okay, cool. You beat Sifu. Congratulations. You beat 3 games, actually. Congratulations on all 3. Now, news-wise, before we get into the big thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to quickly mention a couple quick news items. We haven't done a regular show. Like I said earlier, we did our top 3 dream projects last week, so it's been 2 weeks since a regular show. We haven't had a chance to briefly mention the fact that Starfield was delayed out of 2022. I don't know if anybody has anything they want to say about that, but damn, Microsoft's lineup this
also
year is
Redfall.
looking... Oh yeah, well Redfall is one of those things. Like Redfall, as far as I was concerned, I was never expecting Redfall to come out this year, so that wasn't particularly shocking. But Starfield, they were like, "Here's the date. This is when it's happening," and they seemed very confident. And now they pushed it back. Which
Here's the question: is Microsoft going to release anything this year outside of finish releasing Halo?
I mean, it's looking pretty dire.
But a new Forza game, I think that's about it.
It's pronounced Forza.
Fucking knew he was going to say that.
Forza.
Like pizza.
Anybody else want to say that? Get it out of your system now.
No.
Okay. It's just it's. I don't really know why we're surprised here. We shouldn't be surprised. One, they delayed it. It's a good thing. It means they're taking their time. They don't want it to be a mess. On the
Or it
second
means
side,
that it is a mess.
or it means that it is a mess. But you know what? A lot of games at some point are probably a mess. So, especially Bethesda games. So, I'd rather, as we said many times before, I would rather them delay it and have it be better, whatever. But Microsoft has never
Yeah,
been
but somebody
known...
pointed out that Cyberpunk was delayed a few times before it finally came out.
That is true. That is true. You know, what even is Starfield? This whole marketing campaign they have going for it is bizarre. They keep having these little powwows with Todd Howard to talk about it and not showing anything about it. It's just weird. You know what? I still have no doubt in my mind that we'll see it for the first time in action in just over a month at Summer Game Fest, or actually less than a month at the Summer Game Fest. So that's cool.
The popular suggestion has been that the game is experiencing some developmental hell, and that the main thing holding the game back from making this year was the fact that they had a lot of problems making the flight of your ship good.
Yeah. Well, in a game like Starfield,
that doesn't seem important at all.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So, on one side, it's a good thing. We talk about Microsoft's lineup being really weak this year, but let's be honest, Microsoft's never going to, I don't think, is ever going to really truly chase that first party exclusive. Sony has kind of made a name for itself by having all these big first party exclusives. Microsoft is doing that by way of just buying up a bunch of studios. So, which is
the studios have put out nothing.
But we're also in the middle of a pandemic, so there's also these things.
These things take
there's
time.
I wanted to make sure I thought it was bizarre that they were announcing a date and acting like they were sure it was going to come out. It just didn't seem realistic to me at all from the get-go, and now it's official. It's coming out next year. Which is good because it was coming out so close to the end of the year, and we've been talking about doing Game of the Year stuff in December. So that's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention today, and this is that game Replaced. You remember Replaced? It's that slick-looking noir pixel-based action game. I don't know. It's one of those games that they showed at a press conference once, and we all were like, "That looks fucking amazing." If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. They delayed the game because the developers are in Ukraine, and they officially decided to push that back. So, obviously, there are more important things, I guess, than working on that game, especially if you're, considering where they are geolocated. So, it sucks, but obviously, it's for the best. So that game is coming out later, probably 2023 or beyond at this point. So just wanted to mention that. But the big news that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I might be
it's big to you, Nick.
It's
that's small news for me.
Yeah, that's what
for me. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, see, but this is a big deal for me. It's probably a big deal just for me. I know I'm the lone Silent Hill enthusiast on this podcast, I guess. But I wanted to make sure we mentioned it. I kind of briefly mentioned it last week when I was talking about my Dream Silent Hill project on the top 3. But there was a big leak last week from Dusk Golem, who's a very prominent leaker online. I think he leaked Resident Evil Village before it was announced.
He's reliable.
Among other things, he's very reliable. He leaked what he claimed was the next core entry in the Silent Hill franchise, which is in development at Konami. I don't think we know specifically what team that is, or if it's just an internal Konami team. I don't know. But there were screenshots and what appeared to be marketing materials for a new Silent Hill game, which is coming. And this is one of 3 projects that are rumored in development that are Silent Hill related. And as a huge Silent Hill fan, as someone who's been brokenhearted since Silent Hills was canceled, this is exciting news. And
it's 3 games, but there's also work on a movie and a television show.
Yeah, I'm less excited about those things, but thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Silent Hill, obviously, Konami in general, What the fuck? What the fuck is going on with Konami? It's weird to me that it's at this point they're just kind of like throwing their hat back in the ring and deciding to actually make games again. And maybe this is just they're bored because they're making so much pachinko money. They just want to do something with it.
Oh, they're not making any pachinko money because of COVID.
They're making Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, because of COVID.
Well,
yeah,
they still are, but they're making Yu-Gi-Oh money.
No, actually, they are making. Konami, I think it was the last financials report from Konami was that like the last year has been the most successful. Like they made the most money year over year ever last year, and I think that's primarily because of pachinko machines. So don't ask me how that works in a pandemic, but apparently it does. And the mobile market, yeah. So Konami is doing well despite the fact that they have moved away from proprietary video game development, console game development, that kind of thing. But they appear to be shifting back. We've heard a lot of talk about them outsourcing some of their big IP to other studios, Western studios too. There's rumors about Castlevania coming back. I think there's talk.
What?
Yeah, was there not a Metal Gear and a Castlevania project that was rumored from Konami as well? I don't know. It seems like they're throwing their hat back in the ring.
Oh no, they absolutely are.
They're Team Nick.
They're
what?
We are going to get Konami published titles this year.
Published.
Like the TMNT collection that's coming out. That's Konami, man.
I know.
Yeah, they've been doing those collections for the past handful of years.
Yeah.
But is part of this news the Bloober team thing, or did we already talk about
So
that?
No. So yeah, this is kind of this is bigger than just that core entry. The second part of it, and we've known this for quite a while too. Bloober team, the team that did Observer and Blair Witch, Layers of Fear, most recently The Medium, has been, and this is something they said a few months ago, that they had said that they are working on a prominent horror franchise, and I think they even said for Konami, I want to say, but they obviously didn't say Silent Hill. But the rumors ever since that statement came out have been that they are working on a Silent Hill project. Part of this leak seems to be rumors that they are actually working on a remake of Silent Hill 2.
Which is arguably the most beloved Silent Hill game.
I don't even think arguably. It is the most beloved Silent Hill game. It is probably the one game in that franchise that many people consider to be a GOAT, right? Like myself included.
There's probably about dozens of people out there that are big Downpour stans,
I am a big Downpour stan, right? But like I would never sit here and tell you that I think Downpour is a GOAT. Silent Hill 2 is a GOAT for a lot of people. And there are a lot of people who are obviously very incensed by this, because why would you dare remake that game, especially by
because Resident Evil 2 remake made a shit ton of money.
Yes,
there we go, because Resident Evil 2 made a shit ton of money, but at the same time it's not exactly the same thing. That Resident Evil 2 remake was developed in-house by Capcom. This is them outsourcing to a Western studio to do a remake of one of their most beloved games. And I will say this, I see where people are coming from, but at the same time, unless you jump through a bunch of hoops through emulation, really, there's not really a great way to play Silent Hill 2 these days.
Not even that stellar remaster that we got?
That remaster was complete garbage. There's also, we know that the source code for Silent Hill 2 was basically lost.
Yeah.
So that game, I mean, this would obviously be different. And they even Bloober team came out saying, we want to, whatever we do, even if it's in partnership with Konami, we want to make sure we put our own take on it. So I don't know what that means and to what extent this is going to be a one-to-one remake of 2 or what, but
I mean, I would double check that quote wherever you got it, because what I've been hearing,
I got it from the president of Bloober team.
Oh, really?
He said he I don't know if he wasn't talking specifically about Silent Hill, because that project, quote unquote, doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, it's not official.
Yeah.
But he was saying they've whatever project they do, even when it's in partnership with someone, and sorry, I do not have the quote in front of me, but when they're in partnership with somebody and they're working on somebody else's IP, they only agree to do that if they have assurances that they can make it their own.
Okay, because what I've been
So
hearing has been that they are under orders to make it as faithful as possible to the original material.
which flies in the face of that quote. So
yeah,
and here's the other part of this too. Like this part is largely conjecture. It's heavily rumored that Silent Hill 2 remake is being worked on, and people are kind of assuming that this Bloober project is that game. It might not be. It could be a totally separate Silent Hill project where they are just giving creative freedom over doing whatever they want, and that remake either doesn't exist or it's being made by someone else. I don't fucking know. The third part of this is there is rumors that there is an episodic adventure style game, kind of like
Telltale.
Life is Strange, Telltale Don't Nod style series based on Silent Hill. That being done by Annapurna, I think.
Annapurna is rumored to be one of the finalists to work on that. There's no confirmation on the developer or publisher at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no confirmation on any of this stuff yet.
But that'd be a great fit, honestly, if it's Annapurna.
Honestly, I'm excited potentially about any of these projects. If even one of them comes to pass and the two others don't, I'll be excited. I'll be happy because Silent Hill will be back in some form. I could be happy about any one of these three. Also, about the Bloober team thing, I'm thinking about, and we're talking about being faithful to Silent Hill 2. We're talking about Bloober's quote wanting to do it, make something that speaks to their style, whatever. And I'm just thinking about we've had a remake of Silent Hill 1 that was completely different. Shattered Memories is technically a remake of Silent Hill 1, but completely reimagined. And I could see them maybe doing something similar with Silent Hill 2. But I could also see how Konami would want to make sure they keep it as faithful as possible. So who the fuck knows? But the point is, it's very likely that Silent Hill will be making a comeback very soon. Also, it's worth mentioning that the tweets from Dusk Golem that had all this information was pulled by Konami.
Yeah, DMCA'd.
So, yeah, they were DMCA'd pretty quickly, which lends obviously legitimacy to these claims. So,
also,
as a Silent Hill fan, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it because I'm excited.
Also, the adventure game, whatever it ends up being, is supposedly going to be directly tied into the movie and TV show that they're developing.
Man, they're putting a lot of eggs in the Silent Hill basket, which is cool because I love Silent Hill. But I also, hate Konami sometimes, most of the time, all the time. I don't know.
I love baskets, so.
You love baskets? Okay. And anyone here love eggs? I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
Eggs in the basket. We're talking about eggs in baskets. He said, okay, we're moving on.
Okay, all right.
Anyone have? Does anybody here have anything they want to add before I move on to questions?
Nope.
I don't know what that hand signal means, Brad, but I'm guessing it means no. All right. We have some questions from our listeners, and we're gonna answer these now, guys. If you are listening at home or watching us on Twitch and you want to ask us a question on a future show or suggest a news topic if you want to hear us talk about anything specific, make sure you leave us a comment. I set up a thread in the submit a question channel in Discord every week for the upcoming show. Just drop it in there, and we'll answer your questions as they become available. So, our first question tonight comes from Tac2 Interactive. Tac. He says, "Do you still remember your go-to music from your teens? How have your musical tastes changed since then, and how ashamed are you?" First of all, never be ashamed. Come on, guys.
I mean, there are things you could be ashamed of.
There are things you could be ashamed of.
Maybe not music,
Yeah.
but
We're talking specifically. Well, yeah, I'm talking about don't be ashamed of liking music shouldn't be a. I mean, especially as you get older and as you mature, it's kind of like whatever. I was listening to My Chemical Romance the other day because they released a new song and it sent me on a My Chemical Romance kick. That was something I listened to pretty heavily. They released their first song in 8 years, maybe more. I don't. The other day, which was a big deal. People were losing their minds over that a little bit. I saw the best version of the blinking guy meme where he blinked and all of a sudden he had eyeshadow. That was great.
Drew Scanlon?
Yeah. Very, very simple meme, but it works wonders. Who wants to go first? Music from your teens. Man, Brad looks like he's about to pass the fuck out.
I mean, I would say I'm similar to kind of what was just mentioned. Like, I don't have any. I'm not ashamed of anything. I listen to a lot of Green Day. Some Eiffel 65.
Eiffel 65. Wow.
Yeah, not ashamed. Some Evanescence was big.
Who didn't listen to Evanescence back in the day?
You mean you listen to a lot of different stuff that Eiffel 65 made, or you listen to that one I'm Blue song all the time?
I will say that they did, and that was the first CD I purchased ever.
Wow.
It was Eiffel 65's Blue.
The first CD I can remember purchasing.
Didn't answer the question.
He dodged that one. I the first CD I can remember buying myself was, and this was against my parents' wishes, was Papa Roach. Bought a Papa Roach album.
So
I
that's
still jam to that occasionally. Here's the thing: so much of my music, I have that iPod that has come up several times in the past few shows. I just continuously load music into that playlist, and it just keeps going and going and going. So all the music I listened to in high school still comes up on a weekly basis because I just shuffle my whole iPod basically when I'm driving.
That's
so
cool.
I still get fucking Evanescence. I have every Linkin Park album. I still love all those albums. But I listen to that.
You are wearing a Slipknot shirt. Did you have a Slipknot shirt in high school? And maybe is that the same shirt?
Oh, well, yeah. Of course I had no, this is not the same shirt. I got this when I went to their show. Like, actually, this is the last live show I think I ever went to before the pandemic. Pandemic hit.
I mean, the first CD I bought when I was a teenager, I think it was Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, everyone was listening to Linkin Park back then.
Hold on. So I will say
fantastic.
that Eiffel 65, that was the first CD that I was ever got. Like, my mom bought me that. The first CD I ever bought was Sum 41, Does This Look Infected?
Yes. Sum 41 is the first
I bought with my own money.
Sum 41 is the first concert I ever went to. And maybe is one of the reasons why I still love going to concerts. It was a great show. And
wait,
I had that album.
You still love going to concerts because of that Sum 41 concert?
Well, I mean, I went to that Sum 41 concert, and it kind of it exposed me to that.
Okay, so
that experience. So
you like going to concerts because you went to concerts and you liked them. It's not Sum 41.
No. I mean, that was the first It was not only was it my first concert, but it was a very specific kind of concert. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Sum 41 is like a heavy rock band, but like their music is heavier. People get rowdy at those shows. People got rowdy at that show. I like going to shows where people get rowdy. That's what I'm talking about, and I still love that to this day. And
how rowdy? What's the rowdiest?
Like circle pits, mosh pits, crowd surfing, like that kind of shit. I still love going to shows like that. And
the ones where people just start swinging their fists and they don't care where they land.
Those people are assholes. Those people, and everybody hates those people.
Okay,
but we're not talking about that.
I thought you were cool. Never mind.
So Brad, what was your album that you purchased in high school? And was it or was it
album
not on a
that
phonograph?
I purchased in high school? Yeah, it was, you've heard of 70s classic rock. That was my contemporary music when I was in high school, right?
So it was an 8-track, okay.
When I was in high school in the 70s?
Yeah, I don't know.
Technology in chat says, is Brad an Eagles man?
That was a long time ago. I'm not an Eagles man.
Hey, you know what?
The most shameful soundtrack I bought in high school was probably the Titanic soundtrack.
Okay. No shame,
but I like that.
Right. Fucking whip, man.
Made my heart swell.
Did
it make your heart go on?
I wouldn't have bought that CD, but I probably would have caused a light or LimeWired it.
Don't lie. That good song. Okay. The other part of this question was like, how have your music tastes changed? My musical tastes have changed in that I have broadened my horizons significantly. That's all I'll say about that.
Sure.
I went to college and started liking dirty hipster music,
Yeah.
and they pretty much stayed the same. So.
There we go. Oh man, Side Rail in chat mentioned Stabbing Westward. I had a Stabbing Westward CD. That was pretty good. A lot of Dragon Ball Z music videos made to Stabbing Westward songs. I can pretty much attribute my interest in that band entirely to Dragon Ball Z music videos.
God.
I noticed Crispy has remained very quiet when it comes to
I
talking about his
fucking
music.
hate talking about music.
Country
man.
music.
I fucking
Country
hate talking
music.
about music.
He's-
No, I've actually listened to a lot more country and like just like all sorts of others like country and hip hop and things. I never listened to any of that stuff in high school. In high school, I didn't buy music. Like I didn't buy CDs. I didn't buy albums. The only artists whose albums I went out and bought when they came out was Weird Al Yankovic. Weird Al Yankovic. That was
Wait,
it.
enough.
Just
That was
say
But
that
everything
before you
else, but I was on Kazaa and LimeWire and stuff from like middle school, so I was just always downloading like any stupid little song that like
Well, I
I
don't
was like,
think-
oh, that's kind of cool. I just download that song and then like burn them onto CDs and things
I don't know if buying was
What's
like
the kind of
pretense
stuff
to the
that I'm
question.
listening to? No, but what I'm saying is it did kind of change my relationship to music because I was never like I wasn't watching MTV. I wasn't going to like record stores and buying albums and things like that. So there weren't really like bands that I followed. There was like 1,000 different bands I listened to like one or two songs from each of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of weird. By the end of high school, I kind of started gravitating. I was listening to things like Radiohead. I was listening to Pink Floyd a lot. I was listening to things like White Stripes and the Greenhorns. And then the last year I was in high school, the Raconteur started to be a thing, so I was listening to that.
Isn't
Yeah,
the
I don't
Raconteurs
know.
also Jack White, or am I thinking of something
Yeah,
else?
it's Jack White and it's one of the guys from the Greenhorns.
If we're
I don't remember.
talking also
But-
about like late high school, that's when I started getting into like Modest Mouse and Arcade Fire, the Shins.
See, I wasn't into
Uh,
Arcade Fire then, but I definitely listen to them now. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
they're great. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was-
I mean,
I
that's
wa-
when they
and-
first started, or they first started
Yeah.
kind of getting big. Was like when I was like late high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't into like metal and stuff until I met Matt, which we all here know. And
Mhm.
that was in sometime when I was in college, I guess. But he was the one who kind of broadened my horizons and took me into like metal shows and stuff. And obviously, I never looked back from after that. But yeah, great, good times. Okay. Oh, and this is an important question. Crispy, someone in chat asked, mentioned it. Did you watch the trailer for that Weird Al Yankovic biopic?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
Yeah, can't wait. I mean, it's
It
Weird
looks
Al, it's
ridiculous.
Daniel Radcliffe, and it looks about as
Weird as it
serious
should?
as anything could be. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
All
I
right.
mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Hell yeah. They filmed that movie in like 20 days too, which I thought was fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, I saw an interview with. He's like, I think they did it in like 19 days, which is
Wow.
crazy. Zero Skies asks, what has been the sketchiest place you've ever stayed overnight, or were so bad that you were convinced not to stay? I don't.
I mean, I've got a story.
Is that just a thing that everybody apparently has a story about? I don't know.
I think everyone has
Okay.
one of those stories.
I think the only thing that comes to mind is a story I've told on the podcast several times, so I'm not going to say it again. It involved blood on a wall in a hotel room, and I left. Okay.
Okay.
Chris Davis, tell your story.
When I was 15, I was taking care of my grandmother, and she wanted to go to our cabin in Ruidoso, which is, by the way, burned down, which is very sad. But we drove up to Lubbock, from Austin. That's about an 8-hour drive. And it was getting dark, and I was under orders from my dad that, don't make certain that your grandmother doesn't drive at night.
Right.
We need to make certain everything's safe. We thought we could push on. We thought we had a little bit more time, but the sun was getting low. So we got to Plains, Texas. Now, I don't know if you understand where Plains, Texas is.
Well, it's near Lubbock, so.
Oh, I mean, it's west of Lubbock. It's near the border with New Mexico, and it is one of those typical, the highway is the main avenue, and there's about 100 yards of the town, and that's it.
Yep, not much.
My grandmother remembered that there was a hotel that we could stay at there. Well, we got there. We got to the hotel, and we thought it was closed or it had closed down because there were no cars in the parking lot. There were no lights.
It sounds like the beginning
on.
of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Let me get there. So we get there. We go knock on the manager's door, and evidently, yes, it's owned by a couple. They bought it a few years ago. They've been in the process of renovating it, and they were happy to let us rent a room for like $30 for the night. Well, we get in there, we rent the room, and we're about to go to bed. We're getting in bed, and we get in bed, and we realize there's fucking bugs all over the place.
Bugs?
There's bugs crawling all over us. It is fucking disgusting. Like, the furniture is new and nice, but maybe they haven't done a pest control pass in about 10 years.
Like, what kind of bug? You know what? I don't.
The kind that just ew. So we ended up staying the night, sleeping in the car.
Ooh.
And
you just took the $30 hit and left.
We just
stayed in the
fucking
car?
because it was disgusting. So if
nasty.
you're ever traveling through the Panhandle of Texas, don't stop in at the hotel in Plains, Texas.
Of which there is only one, so you'll know it.
I'm pretty. Oh, right. If it hasn't been closed down or burned down at this point, I have no faith in humanity. Then.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share for this question, or shall I move on?
I mean, I stayed at a pretty shitty hotel in Florida once when I was going to Disney World. It was gross.
So it was. Thankfully, I'm assuming it was off-site.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I could barely afford to go there, so let alone stay. But thankfully, I had noticed the 2 stars online, and so I brought my own bed sheets. Thankfully. But yeah, it was very lots of bugs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nasty. All right. Let's see. What do we have here? Mr. Scorpion wants to know, what is the best deal you've ever gotten on a game? It can be the game's personal value to you, actual money saved, etc. I don't know if I do enough shopping for deals to really have anything.
I used to for sure, but
I haven't done a lot of bargain bin diving. You know what I mean? I feel like you can find some real gems in there. Not to mention, I worked at GameStop for so long. I did so much shopping that I did for games at that time when I couldn't really afford a lot, was when I actually worked at GameStop. So I was taking advantage of the discount. So
I don't have any. The most recent example I can give is not a very good one, but Best Buy evidently had a backstock of the Valkyria Chronicles 4 Ultimate Edition, which came with a model tank and a bunch of stuff, which retails for $100-$150, something like that.
Or it did at launch, anyways.
At launch, and I got it for $25.
I mean, at some point, those things, if they don't sell within the first week or two of the game being out, they're never going to sell unless you drop the price 60%, 70% or something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some games that have appreciated significantly, 3 or 4 times their value, but
it's so sad when you see before a game comes out, you see a collector's edition and it looks hype as shit, but after the game comes out, no matter what it is, no matter how cool it looked before the game came out, if you see it sitting on a shelf somewhere or in a display case, it becomes bad.
I'm honestly shocked that they still do collector's editions with fucking statues.
Yeah.
That should be a thing of the past by now.
Hey, I'm glad I got my Last of Us 2 statue.
Statue? What's wrong with the statue?
I don't think. Granted, personal experience.
Those Resident Evil statues they did were dope.
They're
really
great,
solid.
but they were also.
As long as they're solid, that's fine. It's fine. But we're getting away from the question.
You're spending $200-$300 on them, like.
Sure, but like they're permanent installations in my room here. I got several of them on my shelf over here, and I think they look fantastic.
Let's see the shelf. Show us, man.
Well, maybe after the
Show
show,
us.
I'll show you the shelf. But
Oh.
this is a live podcast recording. We gotta keep moving. Let's see what else we have. Dr. Michael Morbius. Oh my God, who did this?
God damn it.
What year do you predict video games will make the jump to being total quote unquote dot hack type immersion in a game world? I'm not entirely sure what he means by this, but I'm guessing he means like where VR has become kind of just the predominant default way we play games.
you go like into the game kind of type deal.
Like Ready Player One.
Yeah. I honestly don't know if that's
2170.
Yeah, at least not in our lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, especially
2170 is a lot. Maybe 100 years. Like maybe.
Don't be
100
so
years.
sure. I mean,
I think it's realistic to expect within
I
our
mean, I'm
lifetimes
saying,
we get
like,
something like the foundation thereof, but
This assumption's all based on the idea that like society is going to continue and technology is going to keep progressing, not like
Right.
World War III is going to happen in 20 years and destroy everything. But if that doesn't happen, I mean, like, we're going to be on some crazy shit in 100 years. I mean, they already have like fucking quantum computing and shit. Like, I don't know. Things are going to get really weird.
But there's also going to be that period of time where like the barrier to entry for having that kind of gaming experience is going to be too high for like the masses to adopt it. Like it's going to be one of the situations where when we finally hit that point where that technology is there and readily available, it's going to be like the Vive where like it's like astronomically expensive, so only like a handful of people get it, and then you have to wait several years for like that technology to become cheaper and cheaper.
We're talking about a
and then
century. Like I'm not saying
hence not in our lifetime.
22. I didn't say it was going to be in our lifetime.
Right,
I said 100 years.
All right, there you heard it here first.
I heard like a serious physicist today say that he thinks we're going to be doing like Star Trek style transport in 100 years. Like he thinks.
I think he's a liar.
That's probably the same guy who thought we were going to have hoverboards. And what year was it from Back to the Future?
Maybe.
Where they were...
I don't know, man. Like there's
like
some pretty
2015.
Like it's kind of crazy how much we already understand of it, but like
that's true.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay, last thing I want to mention. This is from Haste. This is a news topic that I don't know because right now this is a basically the news topic is that at a TCL Technology conference or at a conference, TCL Technology said that a new Xbox Series X and PS5 Pro are coming in 2023, 2024. I obviously haven't seen this corroborated anywhere yet, but there is a photo taken from a PowerPoint presentation at this conference where it shows this. I don't know how legitimate it is.
It was at Computex, which is happening right now in Taiwan. It's from a display manufacturer, and it wasn't an accurate display. It was an estimate of where and when a mid-generation upgrade would be coming.
And honestly, I will. There's two things I will say. Is one, we know this is coming. At some point, it's coming. But two, I think 2023, 2024. It's probably jumping the gun a bit because we're still knee deep in the chip shortage, which doesn't even look like it's going.
People can't even get the base version of these consoles, and they're going to put out a pro version.
They're not going to do this. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do this until the base, like the install base of the base unit, is big enough. You know what I mean? Like if you can't even sell.
No,
if you can't sell
it's not that they're not selling them; they're selling all of them.
No. I know.
They're all getting sold.
If they can't make them,
I don't think. I mean, I don't know, man. I think the chip shortage is only part of it. I mean, a lot of what is getting sold is being bought up by scalpers. That's just like
that's true too.
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
So you saying 2023, 2024 is too early. Like, dude, it was fucking too early for a PS4, Xbox One X or whatever the fuck it's called.
True, man. Yeah.
Already. Like, it's not gonna slow down. Like, If we don't see this by 2024, I will be surprised.
I don't think we're going to get it by 2024. I think the only thing
I call a hot dog bet.
I will take that bet.
Sure. Hot dog bets over
Do
here.
it. You know, I wish Nick would take hot dog bets so you'd actually...
By the end of 2024.
Dude, I've made more hot dog bets in this show than anybody.
Yeah,
okay?
And yet you hate hot dogs, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I do hate hot dogs. You know what? Actually, that's bullshit. I had hot dogs for dinner tonight. Well, sausages.
That's not a hot dog. That's different.
Yeah, because hot dogs are fucking gross, okay?
Sony is... The thing Sony was working on right now is a 6-nanometer refresh of the PS5. That's the closest we're going to get for the next couple years at least.
Well, we'll see. Hot dog bet. All right. That's it for questions tonight, guys. Thank you for writing in. If you want to ask us questions for a future show, remember, just go into our Discord at discord.gg/4Player. Find the submit a question channel, and I set up a thread every week for our next show. Post it in there, and we will get to it on the next episode. So now we're going to wrap up the show with a 4-player minute. Our final thoughts for the evening. Brad, are you ready? I think you're muted. Brad, you're muted.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
My final thought is, be kind, be good, play Monster Hunter.
Rewind.
That's it.
Are you... Wow, Brad, that's it? That's all you got?
I mean, you can stretch it out a little bit longer if you want to, Nick.
You must be real tired. Okay. That is without a doubt the shortest 4-player minute Brad has ever done in his life. Nolan, you want to go next?
Yo, sure. So I finally picked up Monster Train, The Last Divinity, the DLC for Monster Train. I had never owned it before, mainly just because it was on sale, and I was like, now's the time. It's very daunting because it is a whole lot more going on with the game. There's a lot more like subtle mechanics, but definitely enjoying it and looking forward to playing more of that. But yeah, that's all I got.
Damn, look at that! Look at this shit. It's crazy. Crispy.
So today on Twitter, Elon Musk was tweeting about Elden Ring. It was either today or yesterday. Was tweeting about Elden Ring, and he posted his build on Twitter. And let me just say, the fact that anybody still believes that man's a genius is astounding. Is fucking astounding. I used to think he's just a man of moderate intelligence who just conned his way into this image of Tony Stark tech billionaire genius, like he fucking deserves all the success and money he has. But now I'm really beginning to think that he's actually just kind of dumb. He's just a dumb person with below average intelligence, just a dumb person. He has Lusat's glintstone staff equipped. He has 2 swords. He has 2 shields. He's in heavy load, so he's fat rolling everywhere. And his fucking talismans were just what are you doing, man? That's so stupid. You're such a dumb, stupid person, and I hate that you just get to own society now. It's fucking oh my god!
That's all point laughing at Elon Musk. Oh
I'm
my
looking
god.
for his build right now. I gotta see this.
Oh
for
man,
myself.
that's fascinating.
It sucks. It sucks.
All right.
And his vigor, he invested a bunch in vigor, but stopped short of one of the big leveling thresholds. So it I don't know. His stats are weird and dumb, and I hate it. And I hate that.
I like this. I like this concept of roasting Elon Musk.
There's all these people in the replies. Someone's like, "Hey Elon, I've got 99 of every rune. So if you want to make a new character and you want to level them up to level 120, which is the preferred PvP level, by the way. You could get it done really quickly. Just hit me up, man, and I'll fucking hop in and give you a whole bunch of runes. Dude, get help." Get some fucking help, okay?
Hold on. If they give him the runes, Elon might give them a Tesla. or like a SpaceX rocket. So that's
Yeah.
You die in a
Because
tough
that's how that
one,
works.
right?
I'm looking at his load now, and I'm wondering what the hell that man is
Oh,
smoking.
gross.
Because how do you
Gross.
have level 68 intelligence but do a heavy load build? Like,
Looking at his load.
this is a hot load, and it's a hot load of
I'm sorry.
Yo, no.
Wait, was that
just-
right?
It's
Don't
just,
spit
like,
it out, Nolan.
It keeps getting worse.
any illusions that anyone has of our society functioning in any way resembling a meritocracy should be shattered by just Elon Musk's daily behavior. Like, this is so stupid.
So,
I
fuck
agree
you
with
the
you,
week.
Christian.
Tesla's
Fuck you, the
stock
week
price
obviously
should go
goes-
down just because of this one tweet.
Fuck you the week obviously goes
Oh
to
yeah,
Elon
and
Musk.
he's still using the Moonveil katana. Oh my god.
What a wow! That was a slippery slope of just terrible Freudian slips. All right, Chris Davis, your turn.
I'm sorry.
I
didn't
even
mean
told
to break
Nolan to
you,
spit it
Nolan.
out, and I
I
just
didn't mean to.
It's all right. You're
or
good.
not. I told him to not spit it out. That's even worse.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess my final thought was that I started up a fourth game, which I didn't get to in impressions this week, and I'm just about to bounce off it because it's committing a cardinal sin to me. I started playing Phoenix Point, which is
Sorry. You glitched out for a second. What did you say?
Oh, I said I started Phoenix Point.
Phoenix Point. I don't even
Phoenix
know what
Point
that is.
is it's an XCOM style game from the original creator of XCOM. He
Interesting.
evidently got a studio together and made his own XCOM quote unquote official successor. And
Ooh.
it's got some good ideas to it. Like it's got free aim and more realistic damage physics and things like that. But it's so fucking tedious. It's driving me insane. But what I cannot forgive about it, I can understand this being a very tough game that throws challenge at you very quickly. I can't forgive the fact that it doesn't have any music playing at the game most of the time. Like the only time I've ever heard music in this game is in like the geoscape scene where you're doing the bass moderation and things like that. Like there's no combat music. There's like stingers that happen when you kill an enemy or if you get killed, but like there's fucking nothing. And I hear it has the original XCOM composer too, and it's supposed to be a really good soundtrack. But like evidently there's some kind of glitch that has been there since launch in 2019 that has never been fixed. And so it doesn't play music when you load into a map.
Wow, that's bad.
That's really fucking bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for bouncing off that. That would be enough to drive me insane.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know if somebody could look that up for me and do some research. I'd appreciate it. I couldn't find anything.
I feel like somebody. You're playing on PC, aren't you?
I'm playing the console version.
Somebody must have modded that somehow or something, right? It's like the modding community has to have fixed that by now.
Surely, but this is evidently an official bug that has been there since 2019.
That's crazy.
I'm not willing to waste 6 hours just to restart a game and have that glitch fixed. So
right.
I'm pretty much going to just
you.
shelve it and just hope that one day maybe they'll address it.
You might be waiting for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
My 4-player minute starts now. This is my final thought. I read the cover story from Game Informer yesterday for the Callisto Protocol, which is the new game from Glenn Schofield's team. It's the original creator of Dead Space.
Yes.
This is that one that is quote unquote set in the PUBG universe. Dumb shit, but whatever.
That means nothing.
It means literally, even the article says as much. Like it means there are Easter eggs that like allude to the tournament or whatever that is the setup for PUBG or whatever. That if you're a fan of PUBG, when you see it, you'll be like, oh, and that's all that. That's basically all that amounts to. But I read the article. I'm excited for this game. and seeing the original trailer and kind of seeing the first few screenshots and whatnot, I was like, this looks very Dead Space. I read that whole article, back to front, and or front to back, and the entire time I'm sitting here, I was like, this is Dead Space, like down to the point where he is talking about strategic dismemberment. You remember strategic dismemberment, the buzzword that was used to describe Dead Space? He's talking about it without saying the words strategic dismemberment. He's talking about like being able to. He's talking about your character not being combat trained, so having to use tools in the environment to defend himself. He's talking about like blowing arms and legs off of enemies to prevent them to like immobilize them or make them easier to attack. But without using the buzzwords that I'm pretty sure Dead Space kind of had. Right, like they probably trademarked those terms or whatever. And he even talks about in the interview like about how he was trying to get away from Dead Space, but then he kind of started coming up with an idea, and it seemed very much like Dead Space. So he's kind of like, well, I made Dead Space, and this is an idea that's exciting about it. So why should I try to avoid the very thing that I created? So it's like it's fucking Dead Space. It's everything in that article sounds like Dead Space, which is weird. It's exciting for someone who's a fan of Dead Space. Cool. I'll play another Dead Space game from the guy who made Dead Space that's not called Dead Space. But at the same time, it's coming out at the end of this year, supposedly, which is just a month or two prior to the release of the remake of Dead Space.
Yes,
it's just the timing is weird.
I think it's fucking great.
I think it's great. I'm gonna happily play both of those games. It's just, I was kind of hoping when I read the article that like the differences would become more apparent, and like the things that there would be things that come to light that are like, oh, that's why this is not called Dead Space. It's called the Callisto Protocol. But no, it sounds like fucking Dead Space.
It's legally distinct Dead Space.
Legally distinct Dead Space.
Did you happen to watch the new Dead Space remake demo video that they put out?
No, I mean I've seen like GIFs and stuff from it, just like tech pieces and whatnot, and I've read some stuff. Watched one of the first ones they did, where talking about lighting and stuff. But like at this point, I'm just waiting for a full blown trailer because that's really all I want. I care. Like I don't need to see a bunch of random tech demos. Like just show me the game, show me a trailer. I'm gonna play it.
Well, the newest one they put out was them showing off the engine room level. And again, they have not shown any combat to this point, but it's probably going to be faithful. We don't have to worry about anything in that regard. But Jesus Christ, that is a fucking glow up. I cannot believe how good they made that level look.
And that one's gonna be pretty much a 1-to-1 remake, it seems like, but even that's still kind of out for debate. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I'm excited for the Callisto Protocol, and I like Dead Space, but this looks like it's going to be very fucking Dead Space, unless they're kind of holding something back. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. That's our show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with a new episode. And just a reminder, we're coming up on Summer Game Fest stuff. We're like a couple weeks away, I think, mid-June, right? Mid-June, which is basically, it's not E3, but it's like E3. We're probably going to get a bunch of announcements, a bunch of exciting stuff to talk about. So, of course, we'll be talking about all that stuff and probably doing live streams of those things when it's possible for us to do that. So keep that in mind. And again, I want to remind you, if you listened to our top 3 episode from last week, please, if you liked it, let us know somehow. Just send a carrier pigeon. I don't care. Just let us know. If you want us to do more of those shows, we need to hear from you guys. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Be good to each other. Play video games. And we'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye.
Night.